Now, hey everybody, we are recording. We are live. It is Tuesday morning, Tuesday late morning. Hopefully you're all doing well. Welcome in. This is our second session. As you might have already heard, between last Thursday and today, we are extending this remote learning, aka we're not going to be back on campus until at least Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. So because of that, I've made some adjustments to our remote learning agenda. We're going to talk about that today. I'm also making some adjustment in terms of my expectations for y'all and how I will be running this thing. So kind of a heads up. Moving forward, effectively what we're going to do for each one of these sessions is we're going to start off with kind of a little wrap up, go over some information, say our hellos, all that good stuff. And then I'm going to be spending about 10 to 20 minutes on a short kind of consolidated lesson where I'll be going over some example problems to kind of teach you those processes as well. These are going to be done together with the Edpuzzles and all the other things that have been assigned. So if you continue to have questions on what's expected of you, like, hey, do I need to complete these Edpuzzles or what assignments do I have to do? Please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. Great job on that. But I will be teaching you moving forward. Again, it's going to be short lessons relative to the ones that we had in class, a little different style because of being learning from home. But yeah, that'll be happening. So let's kind of go through this, and everyone can see the screen mirror, right? Like the Algebra 1 Vikings on your screens? Right
Yeah.
on. Cool, cool. Okay, so, whoa. Is anyone's else like left side of the screen like really dark?
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay, never mind. We're good. Okay, something weird with my iPad there for a second. My iPad is frozen now. Cool. All right. So, jeez. Technical difficulty, take 3. All right. So ASB's put together a virtual Spirit Week for this week. Obviously, we missed yesterday since I didn't see y'all, but yesterday was I Miss You Monday. So hopefully you're doing this anyways, talking with friends, you know, just letting them know how much you miss them, because I'm sure we all miss people. But Tuesday, so if you have a favorite song at the moment, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have been listening to either podcasts or music during this time off, now would be an opportunity to share it. So does anyone have any recommendations for music that we should listen to since we're all stuck at home? Tune Tuesday, favorite song at the moment. This is an opportunity for y'all to let me know some music recommendations. And obviously most of you are muted right now, so if you want to respond, you can either type it in the chat box or you could unmute and let me know. Nobody has any good music they're listening to right now? No? Oh, we got one chat. Right on. Diamond Jack. Diamond Jack, what's up, Francis? Oh, are we getting a live performance by Francis right now? I don't know. I can't see. No, it looks like he's still muted. All right, right on. Thanks for the recommendation, Francis. I'll look it up. Cool. So then on that note, then we're going to transition to, it's Tuesday. It's our last 3 good things. Yeah, it's a little different than our normal 3 good things, but if you have anything that's been awesome that you want to share, now's the time to do it. If no one wants to share, I'm going to move past it and start talking about our agenda. But anyone have anything awesome that's gone on in their lives over the course of your shelter-in-place quarantine? You sleep in? That's also a very good thing. Yeah, I agree. I've been sleeping in a lot more. Yes, all right, cool. All right, that's one good thing. Anyone else have anything they want to share?
I just jumped off my bunk bed.
You just jumped off your bunk bed? Right on. That's
I
good.
don't use the ladder.
You don't use the ladder, Francis? Bold move, man.
It's very fun when my little brother's asleep.
Right.
I'm tired.
Alyssa, you're at grandma's house. Andrew, you have read over 700 chapters of anime. That's impressive. That's impressive.
I'm tired.
That's me on a weekday.
That's you on a weekday?
And I'm bored.
You don't read 700 chapters in one day. Maybe you do. I don't know. All right. Well, cool. Thank you for sharing, everyone. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully you guys are being productive and being safe and spending this time effectively. It sounds like some of y'all are doing some good things. Cool. All right, then. Tomorrow's WAG Wednesday. I'm not going to see you tomorrow, but I'll post a selfie of my dog and me tomorrow, just kind of to talk about it. And then Thursday is going to be TV Thursday. You could share anything that you've been watching or streaming over that time. Sweet. All right, so I mentioned that today is going to be a little bit different, and rather all of our sessions moving forward are going to be a little bit different. Keep in mind that this is being recorded, and I will record all future sessions as well. So if you miss one or you're still sleeping when one happens, whatever reason you can't get on, feel free to always check back in on the YouTube channel, because that's where this is going to go basically right when I'm done recording it. If you haven't had access to the YouTube channel yet, I'll kind of move that link to the top of our Google Classrooms after this as well, so that way you can get on it. But also feel free to check that out for homework questions as well, because I've already recorded a few videos and put them up there. You are welcome to email me questions, hit me up with questions about homework problems, and I will create a video specifically for you and put it up on the YouTube channel. Okay, so let me know about that. Edpuzzles are classwork. Yes, Edpuzzles are effectively classwork. So here's how that's going to work. Make sure you check in on the Google Classroom regularly. Complete those Edpuzzles. They are done for completion. Now I'm returning them to you when I grade them based on correctness. But once I eventually put it into the gradebook, it'll be completion basis. The reason why I'm putting them in or returning them to you out of correctness is because I want you to see what you got right and got wrong, but they are classwork. So yeah. Do you have to do the retake quiz due Sunday? No, you do not have to, Dylan. It is just a retake. So if you weren't happy with the score you got originally on that quiz, you can retake it. If you want to just keep your original score, no need to retake it. Great question, man. Another question about the Edpuzzle. How many points are they worth? They're each worth 2 points. Okay, so again, on completion and not correctness, I'm returning them to you based on correctness to let you know what you got right and got wrong. These are great questions. Okay, so before we actually move into the agenda today that you see on the screen, and hopefully this agenda looks pretty familiar with what we're doing in class, I'm trying to make it consistent here. I want to go over something I posted yesterday, and that was this Google Sheets. This is effectively our updated remote learning agenda. What I mean by that is this is basically what we're going to be doing between now, March 24th, when we're talking about lesson 29, all the way through May 5th, at which point we'll be in module 4, lesson 17. Okay, notice that. So basically this is a rundown of every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, spring break included, between now and then. The purple column tells you basically the virtual resource other than these sessions that you might be able to use, aka all the Edpuzzles names are on there. You can access every single Edpuzzle through Google Classroom. Okay, everything that's an assignment or that's expected for you to complete, all are going to be updated and posted on Google Classroom. Please feel free to check in on that. The assignments, everything that's in red is effectively all the assignments. Most of the assignments are from your textbook. Notice that. And I also want you to kind of notice that we're skipping a lot of lessons in Module 4. What I mean by that is we go from right after we finish our review this week, we're wrapping up all that graphing stuff this week. We're going to go to 2, 3. We're going to spend 2 days on lesson 5, then to lesson 11, then 2 days on lesson 14, 15, 17, and 18. Notice I'm jumping around a lot because of the way that this kind of remote learning situation is working. It's not the most effective to try to like flood you with a ton of new information. So I'm going to try to only teach you the most important things as it relates to module 4, which is on those parabolas, those quadratics that we saw. Y equals x squared is our parent function. Okay, so this is effectively a pacing. It's the agenda for the foreseeable future, what the assignments are and what you need to do. Great question, Sarah. When is your test? Here's an answer that y'all are gonna love. I have canceled the Unit 7 test. Canceled it, okay? I originally had it posted. It was scheduled to go up for y'all later this week, excuse me. But due to the situation, I'm basically postponing / canceling that test. So no stress on the parent functions. Make sure you do the review handout though, because that has 15 problems and it's worth multiple points. So that's going to be kind of the biggest assignment in this unit. When we're learning this. Okay, great question. Also, Alyssa, when we learn new lessons, like we're going to be doing here in about a couple minutes, I'm going to do about 10 to 20 minutes of instruction right here during these Zoom sessions, which again, I'll post on the YouTube, but I will also make any and all necessary separate lessons, separate videos to explain the lessons. So if you have more questions, if you have specific homework questions, never hesitate to email me or fill out one of those ROQs, remote learning questions, on the Google Forms, which a lot of you have been doing, and I will make videos to explain those further. Okay, so actually real quick, before I move into our lesson for today, I'm gonna post a Google form, a remote learning question right now. So if you are on the Google Classroom, you should see a new announcement popping up here right this very moment. It is again one of those Google forms that looks a little something like, go to y'all. This is the one that I just posted right here. It's for today. RLQ, Algebra 1, 324. Make sure this is what I'm talking about. Feel free to always hit me up and ask me questions on these things. Once I get responses, I usually go in and try to make videos to help explain the lessons on that. So if you have any homework questions, always feel free to fill one of these out, letting me know exactly what you need help with, and I'll hook you up with a video on that. Okay. All right. Before I move forward into today's actual agenda, if you have any questions on this document, this Google Sheets, again, it's just basically a pacing, what we're going to be doing between now and May 5th, and any of other expectations for us at this point. Anything that you want me to kind of tackle before I move into the lesson today? Sweet. Okay. Sorry. I'm glad to hear that, Kalia. Right on. Anything due today? Technically, no. You notice that lesson 29 is due on the 3rd, April 3rd. That's the first thing that's the first thing that's due. Remember that everything that's on this page is new homework. So there's technically lessons that a lot of y'all have not turned in yet. So I see you, Andrew. I'll get to your question one second. A lot of y'all haven't turned in lessons 21 through 28. Please go back and turn those in, okay? So this is stuff on this page right here is only new stuff. Make sure you turn in the old stuff too. For the homework, do we take a picture of the book pages and upload it to the Google Classroom? 100%. Take a picture of your homework, upload it to the Google Classroom, and turn it into the links in the Google Classroom. So for example, in Google Classroom, there's gonna be something that says like assignment 22, turn it in. Turn it in there. Yes, send a picture of the handout, Mia. Take a picture of the handout and then turn it into the Google Classroom as well. Happy early birthday, Kalia. That's my brother's birthday too. April 3rd, right on. Huh? Okay, cool. Any other questions specifically? These are great questions, by the way, y'all. All right then, if you have any more questions, again, please fill out this thing right here. Let me know and I'll get back to you. That's what I do. A majority of my day is spent answering questions and creating videos based on those questions. Small portion of it is this actual session. So I'm on my computer and my phone regularly. So please feel free to email me those questions. Last one for right now. What exactly have we done last week? I did it all, but what specifically? Also, should we send our assignments? Yes, definitely send your assignments, not to me via email, but upload pictures of them to the Google Classroom. And last week, we just introduced what this was all about. The one session that we did last week, which I had an issue recording, I've kind of fixed that bug now. But that session didn't get recorded, and all that we did basically was introduce what this remote learning thing was all about. Today is our first real lesson on actual new material, lesson 29. So last week we were just completing Edpuzzles and starting to work on the homework, and then kind of getting familiar with what's expected of us on this remote learning, aka home learning situation. Great questions, everybody. Again, fill out any more questions that you have. Boom, on that thing right there. It's the first post on the Google Classroom currently. All right, so we have 30 minutes left until lunchtime, until this block is over. I'm not going to spend all 30 minutes going over problems, but I will go about 10 to 20 minutes right now on lesson 29. And what we're talking about today is description of functions, specifically like all of the parent functions that we've talked about, like, you know, our absolute value function, our linear function, quadratic function, exponential function. There were a couple more, square root and cubic. Also piecewise functions, but effectively, I think the best way to describe it is to actually go into the lesson today. So on page 363 in our textbooks, we're going to be doing problems 3 through 13. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing today. The homework on this lesson is page 367, numbers 1 through 8. Heads up, everyone, the homework for this lesson, page 367, numbers 1 through 8. I already made a whole video doing all of those problems. So literally that entire lesson is done. If you want to see a video, just go to the Google Classroom. How do we upload to the classroom? Take a picture of it and then attach it with a little, with the little paperclip icon. So for example, keep in mind that what I'm about to show you is my teacher version of this, okay? So it's not gonna be exactly the same, but effectively, when you upload something, you should have the ability, if you look in the top right-hand corner of my screen, right beneath the red record icon, you see this little paperclip. That allows you to attach a picture or a document or anything. If you have, like I'm using my iPad right now, so I could legitimately like, use my camera. Okay. See like that. And then you can take a picture and upload it as well if you're uploading directly from the device. So basically, go to your Google Classroom, make sure you have some sort of document and hit this paperclip icon, and that will allow you to upload whatever picture that you have. All right, let's get to business here, y'all. Okay, so real quick, I don't expect you to go through and fill all these out. If you want to, you can. Also, feel free to go back and reference this recording here in these comments. Hold on one second. 7 sausages. Why would you eat 7 sausages for breakfast? That's crazy. Right on. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted.
I'm hungry.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Feel free to go back and reference this video whenever you'd like to get these vocab words done. But notice here, these are the words that we're gonna be working with today. An interval is basically like where it lies on the domain specifically. We'll be talking about that. Increasing and decreasing, super user-friendly words. An increasing interval is where the graph is going up, whereas a decreasing interval is where the graph is, as you can probably imagine, going down, okay? Like negative slope, positive slope, if we're talking about lines. Constant is where a graph is not changing up or down, aka it's flat. And then a relative minimum is the lowest point. So let's say we have a graph that looks like this. Our relative minimum is going to be the lowest point, and then the relative maximum will be the highest point. Okay, that's kind of the words that we're going to be using to discuss in today's lesson. Relative minimum, lowest point, valley, relative maximum, the peak of a mountain, when it's going up, increasing, down, decreasing, and constant. And we're going to describe all of those by using the word interval. And we've seen this word interval specifically when we talked about interval notation, aka what a lot of y'all think of as this, infinity to say like 2. That's interval notation. All right, let's get to today's actual material, lesson 29, describing some graphs. Here we go, page 363. We're going to do all of those purple questions. Again, keep in mind, everyone, the homework for this, literally video already recorded just a few pages down. Look at all those beautiful answers for our homework right there. Nicely done. Okay, cool. But again, there's a whole video on that. Check it out. It's high quality. Okay, page 363, numbers 3 through 13. This is our lesson for today. We're working on describing graphs. But on number 3, we don't even have to describe anything. It's just asking us to evaluate. And it's saying, hey, what is f of -1? And keep in mind that they tell us that the graph to our right that whole thing right here, this thing is f of x. This graph f of x is made up of multiple pieces, a decreasing interval, it's up, hint, hint, an increasing interval in blue, and a constant interval in red. And that whole thing is made up of 3 pieces, hence why it's called a piecewise function, and it's all titled by f of x. Okay? So what we're now being asked is to evaluate when f of x is f of -1. So that really means when x is -1, or where is this graph at the x value of -1. So let's cruise on down to our graph, find where x is -1, boom, and let's see where it exists. Well, it exists right there. So when we evaluate at -1, what is this height at? +1. So when x is -1, f of x, or our output, or our y value is +1. Because again, when x is -1, gets us a height of +1. Sweet. Cruising on up to number 4. What about when x is 2? What's the value of f of x? So we cruise on over to our graph where x is 2. Boom, right there. That's where it hits the graph at x is 2. What's the height at? Coincidentally, +2. So when x is 2, f of 2 is +2. Again, not even describing graphs right now, but more so evaluating or solving by just using visuals, by basically finding Waldo, so to speak. Okay, what is the domain of this function? Domain are all the x values. So this graph is going to go from -infinity to +infinity. And what I just did there, y'all, is I described the domain on an interval through using interval notation. And the reason why I say it goes from negative to +infinity is because let's look at our sides. That's an arrow on the left, and that's an arrow on the right. So since these arrows tell us that it's going forever in those directions, it's going to the left forever, -infinity, and it's going to the right forever.
Wait, which page is this again?
This is on page 363. Great question. All right, before I cruise any further, anyone have any specific questions on any of these problems so far? We feeling moderately comfortable how I've gotten these answers of green, orange, and blue. F of -1 is 1. F of 2 is 2. Hold on, Alyssa, one more time. Let me turn up my volume a little bit more. Say it again.
Are we supposed to be taking notes?
I would highly recommend it, but you know that you can always go back and reference this video again if you want to a little bit later on, because it is recorded right now.
So are we just listening?
Technically speaking, I don't have the ability to walk around and pester you like I normally do if you're not taking notes, but I would recommend taking notes. But you could listen, you could do kind of a combination of the two. Feel free to work with however you like to digest this information. I would recommend taking notes.
I lost my notebook.
If you lost your notebook, most of these assignments can be accessed through Google Classroom or the class website. I put PDF copies of every lesson up on the class website.
Okay.
Right on. Cool. Any other questions before I move on to number 6?
Where's Coy?
I don't know. We'll have to give him a hard time about not joining these sessions. Yes, okay, so I see your question in the chat, Alyssa. I think we just addressed that right on. Cool. All right, what is the range of this function? Well, the range is our lowest height and our highest height. So let's go with our lowest point. This is our relative minimum as well, by the way. But notice that this graph, let me kind of use a big black line. This graph doesn't go any lower than our x-axis. Like it cruises down and then bounces off of it. Cruises down and then bounces off of it at the origin. Therefore, our range, our lowest part of this graph is going to be at the height of 0. Because notice, boom, right here, it actually exists at 0, but it doesn't go any lower. Now, where is it trending towards? It goes up this way, and it goes up to the left. But notice on the right side, it kind of stops at this height, gets flat. But on the left side, it keeps going forever. So that means if it's going forever, it's trending towards, in the upward fashion, positive infinity. Sweet. All right. Number 7 and number 8. At what numbers is f of x equal to 1? By the way, number 7 and number 8 are like the inverse or the opposite of the logic that we used in numbers 3 and number 4. In these two problems, we were given x values. In number 7 and number 8, we're not given an x value. We're asked to find the x value, or what is x, when f of x, aka y, is 1. That's what number 7 is asking. Hey, where on our graph, what x value exists when f of x or y is 1? So let's cruise over to a height of 1. Height of 1 is right here. Boom. Does this graph exist anywhere at a height of 1? Right there and right there. The two big red dots. So what values of x make us have a height of 1? Negative 1 and positive 1. All right, next up, what about when we're at a height of 3? Height of 3, it's like right up here. So where is that at a height of 3? Right there. And look at all this right here. Boom, all of that to the right. All of that's at a height of 3. So what values exist, or what values of x give us a height of 3? Let me use my purple highlighter here. Well, naturally, when x is negative 3, we get a height of 3. And then all of these values of x right here, going that way forever, give us a height of 3. So basically everything from 2 on. So everything from that's bigger than 2, x is greater than 2. That's equality and interval notation. Sorry, inequality notation. Y'all are crazy with these comments. Okay, any other questions so far before I get through numbers 9 through 13? We're starting to kind of cruise through this. We're getting near the end of this lesson. Erase all this extra stuff here. Okay, cool. So we're back to a clean f of x. Number 19, for what interval is the function increasing? We know increasing means going up. That's the only portion right there that has a positive slope, if we want to think about it like that. It's going up. So where does this exist? From here to there. What are my x values there? Well, they're from 0. It starts going up at 0, and it stops going up at 2. So we can say, all right, in interval notation, it goes from 0 to 2. What about when it's decreasing? Decreasing is opposite logic. It's going downhill now. So all the downhill motion from left to right would be that negative slope highlighted in blue. So where is it decreasing? Well, if it's decreasing like that with an arrow, that means it's trending from negative infinity. And where does it stop decreasing? Right there at 0. Goes from negative infinity to 0 for a decreasing function. Why did I use this parenthesis right here? Because I already said it existed increasing at 0 in the last problem. So I can't have two different brackets that would imply that it exists it both increases and decreases at the same time, which logically does not make sense. You have a bank account, and it's not going to increase and decrease simultaneously. We can't have the same situation on a graph. It either increases or decreases at a given point. Last but not least, where is this function constant? AKA, where is it flat? Boom, right there. Everything from 2 and on. Does it exist at 2? Nope, open circle. So interval notation says this thing is constant at 2, but doesn't exist at 2, so we use a parenthesis, and it goes to the right forever towards infinity. That is our constant interval from 2 to infinity, and again, it is a parenthesis because of that open circle. Boom, right there.
Dang, Mr. Benham, you got a cool background.
You like that? All right. Last but not least, we got 2 more problems left. Thank you, Ethan. Is there a relative maximum or minimum on this graph? Where is it? What do y'all think? Is there a relative minimum? Let's start there. Anyone think
Teddy
they know?
bears.
get a little group work here going. Anyone think they know if this has a minimum, aka lowest point of this graph?
0.
Yeah, 0 right there. There it is. That's our lowest point is at 0. So the maximum we haven't talked about yet, but the minimum is when x is equal to 0. Do y'all think there's a maximum? Relative maximum, that is. My answer is no, because look at that right there. It's going up forever, so we can't really say it maxes out at any point. So is there a relative maximum? No, because it's going up towards infinity.
What happened? I'm telling everyone how I blew myself up. Oh, I'm not on mute. Oops.
All right. Last thing, last part of today's lesson. Determine f of 4, aka when x is 4. So can we figure out where x is equal to 4? I don't know. Let's check it out. Let's go over to our graph. Let's go up to where x is 4. Let's cruise on up to right there. Now, granted, it doesn't actually exist visually, but we can imply that it's there. Why? Arrow. And the arrow tells me that this thing is going on forever, which means it really just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. So if I was to arbitrarily extend that arrow, what's the value of x or the value of f of x when it's at 4?
Infinity.
It is going towards infinity, but when we're at x is 4, what is the height or the value of the output?
3.
3. Yes, sir. So when x is 4, aka f of 4, the height is 3. And how do we find it? We looked on the graph. Cool. So a lot of these words and a lot of these concepts that we did on this page 363 are kind of a repetition of old concepts. So hopefully if you're seeing this is familiar and you're like, this is easy, that's good stuff. But that's kind of the general idea, wrapping up our knowledge of our parent functions, the 6 functions we talked about, how we transform them, shift them side to side with that h value, up and down with that k value, and then the a value opens it upwards or downwards as well, stretches it. But now we can also describe it with words as well, kind of rounds off our entire unit right there. So that's effectively our lesson for today, everyone. Just a heads up, on Thursday, we're going to be going over the transformations review handout. Some of you have already completed it. Well done. We're going to be going over a few select problems on that on Thursday, but just heads up on that one. So does anyone have any specific questions for me before we kind of wrap this up? I know a lot of you have been doing a lot of typing in the chat. I haven't had the opportunity to kind of keep up with it. So it looks like most
I
of
wouldn't
it,
look at it if I were you.
I know, I figured as much.
115 messages, by the way.
It looks like most of y'all are talking
My
to each
group
other.
chat is much worse.
Have any specific questions? Say, don't do it.
What the?
So
I got in.
Sophia just asked a fantastic question. Okay. Hey, hold on. Stop spamming this right now. Okay. If we don't go back to school, are we going to have a final? To be determined. Great question, Sophia. I will speak with the other math teachers and the administration on that one. I do think that a final probably is going to be tough to do if we don't go back to school. So I'm leaning towards not a traditional final, but more to come on that. That's a very, very, very good question. But we'll talk a little bit more about that.
I'm doing it.
Andrew, can you send your homework? Can you send a question to the remote learning questionnaire, the Google form, and I'll figure that out. I assume by number 14 you mean on the same page, right?
Was that
Pull myself up.
Hi, Zaid.
Yo, Ethan, what's up, dude?
Hi.
Okay, Andrew, I can't see your response, but I don't know. So what you're talking about, I will get a separate video recorded for that.
He likes me. It's okay.
I'm trying to read the last few questions. If you need to see if you have homework in, check the Google Classroom, okay? And or the Infinite Campus. Infinite Campus is your best way to see if you have homework turned in or not. Anything that I have, and I'm going to go grade right after lunch today, anything that I have received from you, I have put into the Infinite Campus. So because there's I have 170 students, emailing y'all individually about what homework you have or do not have is kind of crazy. So please take that opportunity to check on your Infinite Campus and then email me or put on the questionnaire on the Google form if you have any specific questions about an assignment. So long story short, Infinite Campus is your best way to see if I have seen your homework. Anything that's not in there is currently missing.
Mr. Benham, do not light gasoline on fire.
Huh?
Ethan,
What do you mean?
do?
I thought that was Ethan asking a question. Who just tried getting my attention?
Me.
So, what did
me?
you
You
ask?
can't just say me. There's like 100 people in here.
I know.
You.
There's 40 of y'all.
Yeah.
Ethan, do not
me-
light gasoline on fire.
What am I gonna have for lunch today, Sam? I don't know. I'm thinking about making some sort of like brown rice bowl. Probably gonna put some chickpeas in there and some beets, some kale, and carrots.
That's too healthy.
Too healthy?
Yeah.
Oh, I try to eat
Forgot the sausages.
no sausages.
And
No
I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes. They're gone.
Teddy bears.
Zaid, why aren't you
Teddy
talking?
Teddy bear.
Of course I miss y'all, Avery. Of course I miss you. I thought about it. It was the very first
You want to
like,
see me go over the top?
I was thinking, I was like, man, I actually do miss my job and I miss seeing everyone. So I do miss working with y'all every single day. It's been a transition. Not that being said, I do like sleeping in. But I do miss working with y'all more.
Mr. Benham, we
Yes.
never got to ask you those questions on Friday.
No, we're not answering those questions right now. This is a recorded session.
Wait, what question?
That's
Hold on.
over.
We're not answering any of those questions. Okay.
The question.
We can go over that potentially time dependent if we get
Mr.
back.
Benham, the lesson's over.
Bye, Mr. B.
Now the lesson's over.
Bye, Zaid.
What's up? Okay, so if y'all don't have any other questions, and hold on a second, how do you upload homework? That's a great question, Delaney. Uploading homework should be done by taking a picture of your assignment and then uploading that picture through the paperclip icon on the applicable link in the Google Classroom. Okay, so take a picture, send it to yourself on a laptop, or if you took a picture, try to upload it with that into the link in Google Classroom. There's a lot of links in the Google Classroom for y'all to upload. That's a very good question.
Okay.
Right, does anyone else have any other assignment or class-based questions? If not, we are going to wrap
Are we
up.
having more ed puzzle?
Huh?
Do we know if we're having more ed puzzle?
There will be more ed puzzles. Yeah, continue to check in on your Google Classroom, and that's going to be your best way to upload via ed puzzle. Take the ed puzzles. Every single thing that I expect of y'all. Hey, Francis. Francis, if you're the one playing the music right now, it's very well done. But give me 1 second.
Alexis.
Everything that's an assignment or a classwork, like an ed puzzle, should all be up on the Google Classroom. If it's not on the Google Classroom, you don't have to do it. Okay. So you need to check in on the Google Classroom, check the classwork portion, and then that will be how you can figure it out.
Just to double check, the assignment, all the stuff that's due on April 3rd, it's still due on April 3rd, right? Even though
Hi,
it
Sam.
got extended.
Correct. No foul words on the chat, y'all.
What do y'all?
April 3rd, due on April 3rd. To upload, make sure you do it in the Google Classroom, please. Please do it in the Google Classroom. If I get like 100+ emails all the time for this homework, it's going to make me crazy. It's already hard enough to grade this stuff as it is via pictures. So please try to upload it to the Google Classroom. Gmail is an absolute last case scenario, okay? So to upload, again, go to the Google Classroom. Across the top, up here, across
Andrew.
should be a classwork. Again, this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a little bit different here because this is on my teacher mode. Okay, it's going to be different for y'all. Y'all have a classwork link.
Jeffrey.
Oh, at the bottom. So go to the classwork. My bad.
It's Chloe.
Go to the assignment.
You're so mean.
Upload. Okay.
Looks like a bean.
So you can upload through here. There's a little on
Kevin.
yours, there's going to be a paperclip icon where you can attach a photo.
Hi, Gavin.
Okay, right on. Any other specific questions?
Your hair.
Having my hair? None. What's wrong with you?
All right, y'all. On that note, then, I am going to end this recording. If you have any questions, y'all, make sure you go and type them into this RLQ, okay? I'm going to try to get back to you and or create videos to answer those questions.
Hand sanitizer, bro.
Have a great day, everybody. Hope you are safe. I do miss y'all. I hope
do it.
you're enjoying your time, but you're doing it safely
AJ.
and responsibly, okay?
What's up, my name?
AJ, you got the answers for bio?
What's up, my name?